Have you ever come across a news story or video of someone in their 80s or even 90s running a marathon, lifting weights, or competing in a triathlon, and thought, how in the world are they still doing that? Maybe you smiled with admiration, or maybe a part of you quietly whispered, I wish I still had that kind of energy. You're not alone in thinking that. It's something many of us wonder as we get older. Because let's be honest, most of us are told that aging means slowing down, giving up certain activities, and just accepting aches and stiffness as part of life after 60. But what if that didn't have to be the case? What if aging could look a little different? That's what today's video is all about. We're going to talk about real people, men and women in their 80s and 90s, who are not just alive, but thriving. They figured out some powerful secrets to staying strong, active, and full of life. And the best part? These secrets aren't just for elite athletes or fitness fanatics. They're simple, doable things that you can start applying to your own life, one small step at a time. So let's start with the first one. It might surprise you. One thing that nearly every long-living senior athlete has in common is this. They move their bodies almost every day, but they don't overdo it. See, it's not about intense training sessions or pushing past pain. It's about consistency. That daily walk, those light stretches in the morning, maybe a swim once a week, those add up over time. Take, for example, Sister Madonna Boer, often called the Iron Nun. She's completed over 40 Ironman races, and she didn't even start running until she was 48. Now in her 90s, she still trains regularly, but she listens to her body. If she needs a break, she takes it. If something hurts, she adapts. Her secret? I just keep moving. Movement is life. And she's absolutely right. Staying active keeps your joints lubricated, your muscles engaged, and your mind sharp. Even if it's as simple as walking around the block, gardening, dancing in your kitchen to your favorite old tune, it counts. The key is doing it regularly, without pressure and without guilt. That brings us to another common thread among these inspiring seniors. They have a strong sense of purpose. And this one's not always physical. It's emotional, even spiritual. Think about it. When you wake up in the morning and feel like your day matters, that you matter, it lights something inside of you. It gives you a reason to take care of yourself, to keep going, to keep growing. One amazing man named Charles Eugster, who took up sprinting in his 90s, once said, "You're never too old to set a new goal or dream a new dream." He didn't run because he wanted to win medals. He ran because it gave him a reason to get up every day, to train, to eat better, to meet people, to live. That sense of purpose fuels energy. It's what keeps your spirit young, even when your bones feel a bit creaky. So how do you find that sense of purpose? It doesn't have to be a big mission or a world-changing idea. It could be something as simple as mentoring a younger person, volunteering at a local shelter, starting a small art project, or growing a vegetable garden. It could be picking up the phone to check on an old friend. Anything that gives you that little spark, that feeling that you still have something to offer this world. And trust me, you do, more than you probably realize. Now, let's talk about something that might sound a little too simple to be a longevity secret, but it's one of the most powerful of all. They get good sleep. Almost every vibrant older adult you'll meet has made rest a priority. Not just more time in bed, but rest that restores. Deep, uninterrupted sleep that gives their body time to recover, their mind time process, and their immune system a boost. Why does this matter so much? Because healing happens at night. Your cells repair. Your brain clears out toxins. Your mood resets. And without enough sleep, even the best nutrition or exercise routine can fall short. Senior athletes have learned to treat sleep like training. They keep a routine. They wind down with calming rituals. They protect their rest time like gold. And maybe that's something we can all try a little harder to do. No more feeling guilty for going to bed early. No more ignoring fatigue because we think we're being tough. Getting good sleep is not lazy, it's smart. Sometimes it's the little things. Closing the curtains, turning off the TV early, playing soft music before bed, drinking a calming tea. That make the biggest difference. Give yourself permission to rest. Your body will thank you with more energy, better balance, and a sharper mind during the day. So, We've talked about movement, purpose, and sleep. Three things that might not sound like magical secrets, but they truly are. Because when you look at people who are still running, lifting, smiling, and living fully into their 80s and 90s, you don't see people who are chasing youth. You see people who are embracing life on their terms, with their wisdom, at their pace. And isn't that something worth aiming for? Now that we've explored a few of the powerful habits that fuel strength and vitality later in life, let's keep going. There's more to uncover, more real stories, more gentle wisdom from those who've walked this path and found a way to keep their spark alive. One thing you begin to notice when you spend time listening to older athletes, the ones who've not only lived long but lived well, is that they're not chasing their past. They're not trying to be who they were at 30 or even 50. They're fully present in who they are now. And that mindset, that's another powerful secret. See, they stay mentally flexible. Not just physically flexible, although yes, many of them stretch and do yoga or Tai Chi to keep their joints moving. But mentally, they're open, curious, willing to learn something new, willing to adapt. Think about that for a moment. The world changes fast. Technology, culture, even food trends, it can all feel overwhelming. But the senior athletes who continue to thrive are the ones who don't fight change. They dance with it. They stay young in spirit because they're not stuck in the past. They read. They try new things. They laugh at themselves when they don't quite get it the first time. One man I heard about in his late 80s signed up for a salsa class just to try something different. He didn't care that he was the slowest in the room. He said it made him feel alive. That's the magic. When you let yourself stay open to new experiences, your brain lights up, new neural connections form. And studies show that continued learning, whether the new hobby, a language, or even learning to use a smartphone, can slow down cognitive decline and help protect your memory. So maybe this week, pick something unfamiliar. It doesn't have to be big. Try a new recipe. Watch a documentary about a place you've never been. Ask your grandchild to teach you a game they like. You never know what will awaken that spark inside you again. Now, this next one might feel obvious at first, but it goes deeper than you think. They eat with intention. Notice I didn't say they follow a diet or count every calorie. Senior athletes don't obsess over food, but they do treat it like fuel. They know their bodies have changed, and they honor that by choosing foods that give them energy, not just pleasure. Take Olga Kotelko, a Canadian track and field star, who was still competing at 95. She once said that she didn't eat perfectly, but she always paid attention. She ate what made her feel good the next day, not just in the moment. That's the difference. Most of these active older adults don't live off fancy smoothies or exotic superfoods. They stick to the basics, colorful fruits and vegetables, good protein, healthy fats, and plenty of water. And perhaps most importantly, they enjoy their meals without rushing. They sit down. They chew slowly. They savor. There's a kind of wisdom in eating that way. Slower meals help digestion. Balanced plates keep your blood sugar steady, which means more consistent energy. And when you eat mindfully, without the TV blaring, without scrolling through your phone, you actually feel more satisfied, even with less. And let's not forget hydration. I know it's not the most exciting topic, but it matters more than most people think. As we age, we sometimes lose our natural sense of thirst, so we forget to drink water. But those who stay vibrant into their 80s and 90s make hydration a habit. A glass in the morning, a sip throughout the day, a gentle reminder that your body still needs that gift of water every single day. So maybe today, take a moment to ask yourself, not what should I eat, but what will make me feel alive tomorrow? Let that guide your choices. You don't have to give up every indulgence. Just start thinking of food not as a reward or punishment, but as a friend, something that supports your energy, your muscles, your mind. Now, I want to touch on something that often goes unnoticed, yet it might be one of the most crucial longevity secrets of all. They build and maintain strong social connections. It's so easy, especially as we get older, to start withdrawing. Friends move away, loved ones pass on, and the world can start to feel a little quieter. But the senior athletes who keep going, the ones with that unmistakable glow in their eyes, They surround themselves with community. It doesn't have to be a big circle. Even one or two good people who check in on you, who laugh with you, who listen, that's enough. And if you don't have that right now, it's not too late. Connection can come from the most unexpected places. A walking group at the local park, a class at the senior center, even an online group of mobility is a challenge. One story that stayed with me was of a 92-year-old man who ran in community 5K races. Not because he wanted to win, but because it gave him a chance to be around others. He said, "I run for conversations." Those small connections kept his heart full. And that emotional health, it shows up in your body. 2, less stress, stronger immunity, a longer life. So reach out, make the call, say yes to the coffee invite, smile at the neighbor, because that tiny moment of connection might be the exact thing you need today. When you bring all these things together, the daily movement, the sense of purpose, restful sleep, mental openness, intentional eating, and meaningful connection, it's not about chasing youth. It's about stepping fully into who you are now, with strength, with grace, with joy. And the truth is, it's not too late to start. Whether you're 65 or 95, your body and mind still respond to kindness, still respond to effort, still respond to hope. Let's keep going. There's something truly inspiring about seeing someone in their 80s or 90s move with ease, laugh with freedom, and speak with clarity. You can't help but think, what's their secret? And by now, we've seen that it's not just about physical routines. It's about how they live. And there's one more thing they all seem to have in common, something deeply powerful, and maybe even more important than any exercise or food plan. They all have a sense of purpose. Not a grand, flashy one. They're not all writing books or giving speeches, but they wake up in the morning knowing that their life still means something, that they still matter. That today still holds something for them, something to do, to learn, to enjoy, or to share. For one woman I read about, it's her garden. Every morning, she checks on her tomatoes, talks to her plants like old friends, and finds peace in the soil under her nails. For another, it's volunteering twice a week at a local school, helping kids learn to read. And for one sprinter in his 90s, it's simply showing up to track every Friday, putting on his shoes, and feeling the wind on his face as he walks one lap, then another. Purpose isn't about impressing anyone. It's about finding something that gets you out of bed and brings a little light into your day. And it doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe it's a pet who depends on you, a neighbor who always smiles when you wave, a goal to reach, no matter how small, or a tradition you carry on. Science supports this, too. Studies show that seniors who feel they have a purpose live longer, experience less depression, and even recover faster from illness. Purpose gives meaning to the ordinary. It makes life feel worth living, even on the quiet days. If you're thinking, but I don't know what my purpose is anymore, that's okay. Sometimes we outgrow old purposes and have to rediscover ourselves. Maybe your purpose now is to share your wisdom, or to practice kindness, or to find peace and joy in each moment, inspiring others just by how you live. Take a moment today and ask yourself gently, not, what should I be doing, but what brings me peace? What makes me feel useful or happy? The answer might come quietly, but when it does, hold on to it. That little spark, that's your compass. And here's the beautiful thing. When you begin to live with purpose, all the other pieces tend to fall into place. You move more because you're engaged with life. You sleep better because your heart is fulfilled. You eat better because you respect a body that lets you do what you love. And your mind stays sharp because it's actively involved in the world around you. Now, I know we've talked about senior athletes, and it's easy to think, well, I've never been an athlete. This doesn't apply to me. But here's the truth. Longevity secrets aren't reserved for Olympians or marathon runners. They're for you. For anyone who's willing to care for themselves a little more each day. You don't need to run sprints or lift heavy weights. You just need to keep showing up for yourself. Take the walk. Stretch your arms. Laugh often. Call a friend. Eat something that makes your body smile. Learn something new. And rest when you need to. You are not past your prime. You are in a new chapter, one with just as much value, maybe even more, because now you carry stories, patience, and depth that younger people are still chasing. That's powerful. That's beautiful. So what if we stopped thinking of aging as decline and started thinking of it as refinement, like a fine wine or a favorite song, something that only gets richer, more soulful, more meaningful with time? You've earned this chapter. Make it yours. If any of this spoke to you, if you felt even a small spark of motivation, take that feeling and turn it into action. Not tomorrow. Today. Do one small thing to honor your health, your joy, your strength. And when you do, come back here and tell us in the comments. Share what made you smile, or what you're trying. You never know who you might inspire just by showing up. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. We're building a community here of people who believe that growing older can mean growing stronger, wiser, and more joyful. Your presence here matters. So let's keep going. Let's keep moving. Let's keep loving this life. No matter our age, no matter the pace, no matter what others might say, here's to you, to the strength in your step, the light in your eyes, and the quiet power that's still growing in your heart. Here's to living your best life at any age.